everybody stays away from me. So I kind of measured it at the Lackawaxen volunteer firehouse, which is where I'm showing my art. Oh my God. And maybe the reason why people didn't take my family portrait business seriously at the Willowbrook Mall is because I was set up right next to a vendor who was selling sex toys. I don't know.
Well, maybe
that's a possibility.
Maybe you should have took some of your later art when you were showing little breasts and little nipples. Maybe you could go 1 + 1 = 2.
Even though she was selling dildos and vaginal cream, I think that if I had paintings on display where nipples were shown, paintings, not photographs, the rent-a-cops at Willowbrook Mall would have come to me and asked me to censor my work while she's selling dildos and vaginal cream. I'm pretty sure that's the way it would have gone. Because human beings do not have the ability to discern between nudity and pornography. Because, in my opinion, human beings are all pent up, evil little troglodyte creatures that are all frustrated with their own instincts and pleasure. And they have their head all wired up so that anything that they enjoy must be evil. Let me figure out a reason why I'm enjoying it and I feel guilty, so everybody else should too. Largely because of Christianity, which is a religion that we invented to keep you all enslaved. And it's worked very well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much once again for watching the New World Order broadcast. We are coming to you live from the end of the world. I'm your host, the Hat Man, and I am joined in the studio once again by Harry, the Taxman, who, for whom, it is a whole new world.
Yep.
Harry, tell everybody the good news. What happened to you a couple weeks ago?
What was the good news?
Well, the good news was you regained one of your only 5 senses.
Oh!
So most people, if you're watching, you'll notice that Harry the Taxman is usually the only person on the podcast wearing headphones.
Yeah.
You got the headphones on. That's because you have a little difficulty hearing, or a lot. And finally, after years, and since I've met you, I've had to shout at you. I've had to scream. Some days you wake up and you come out here and why aren't you talking to me? He's like, I have a sore throat. I can't yell today. And I finally convinced you to get a good pair of hearing aids.
Yeah.
How's the world? The world greets you. How are you greeting the world?
I've been getting up in the morning to hear the birds in the morning.
How long has it been?
For a long time. I didn't want to hear a lot of people.
Well, how long has it been since you heard a bird?
At least 4 years.
I can't imagine that. That's wild. I haven't had a bird sing for 4 years. That's crazy. So how are you adjusting to the whole experience of kind of, I mean, people take hearing for granted. But I mean, it is kind of how you, aside from smell, which is not very directional. It's like, I can smell a roast chicken, but I really don't know which direction it's coming from. It's just kind of all around me, and I'm swimming in a sea of chicken smell.
Yeah.
With sounds, you know where they're coming from. At least, you know, you're going to readjust that. But I mean, how is it like hearing is kind of how you know what's going on around you when you're not seeing it? It's like, I told you, oh, there's a mouse in the kitchen. You were like, how do you know? Because I was looking at you. I was like, I can hear him. And like, it was almost like you forgot that. How is it readjusting to knowing that there are things going on around you that you can't see, but now you're aware of them again? That's got to be crazy.
It's a strange new world.
Yeah. That's all you have to share about it.
Yeah, it's like I forgot about the rest of the world for a long time.
Well, tell me, I mean, this is interesting to me because I always said...
I'm hearing my neighbors across the street and they're about 100 feet away.
Yeah, well, you should.
Yeah.
They're right there. 100 feet away isn't that far.
Well, I kind of forgot about that. So, I'll tell you what, people, it's like losing a part of your body, and after a while you get to miss it. You think it's normal? Well, it's not that way. So at least I could hear things now. I don't know if it's a gift. Sometimes you don't want to hear some shit.
Okay.
Sometimes you want to sneak up on someone and sneak on them.
Yeah, but you're not sneaking up on anybody just because you can't hear yourself doesn't mean I can't hear you.
I can go to court now and I can tell the judge off and I don't need to get for them to give me a hearing aid.
Right. Well, I mean, it's kind of like before you got your real good hearing aids, you got what's the brand that you got?
I got different brands off the internet, but there was always background noise.
What's the brand that you have now?
The Miracle Ear.
Miracle Ear, yeah. And those are so...
$6,000 is a great deal of money.
It's not nothing.
Cheap.
It's not nothing, that's for sure. But, I was sitting here thinking about it, and even when you had the ones off the internet, we'd be sitting in here, and when you first got them, you'd be sitting here and going, and you'd stand up and you'd look around, and I'd be like, all right, buddy, what are you hearing? And you say, well, I'm hearing a clap, clap, clap. And I don't know what it is. Oh, that's the faucet dripping. And he said, I can hear the faucet dripping from here. I was like, yeah, it's only like 15 feet away, dude.
I need new body parts. Send me money.
So send us money, of course. Send us money. Send me a DM and I will give you a link to send us money for no reason. Just send us money. So I was messing with you a little bit and I wanted to have the drive home with you after you picked up your hearing aids, the really good ones, because I was going to pantomime Walt Disney's A Whole New World from the Aladdin movie. Yeah. But we had to wait until we got back, and I did it, which was a lot of fun. A whole new world! But I kind of, it's like I said to you for the last 3 years, I don't think you know how much of the world you're missing out on by not being able to hear. And when I first met you, I didn't realize exactly how bad it was because you got very good at reading lips.
Yeah.
But I realized, I could be yelling, but if my face is not pointed at your eyes, you don't know what I just said. So you got very good at reading lips. It was a lot worse than even I thought it was for the first year that I knew you.
Go work a jackhammer for 25 years in a subway tunnel, and you can't avoid it. Yeah,
definitely. If you have a job where you are around loud noises all day, every day, insist upon ear protection. OSHA gives you that right, and hopefully you won't have to deal with this.
The worst part about it, the veterans didn't give me anything, the city of New York didn't give me anything, and Medicare didn't give me anything.
Thank you, America!
Thank you, America, for our health system. It sucks.
Thank you, America, for taking care of your veterans.
Yeah.
Thank you, America.
Northwest America.
I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, where I can go deaf and live or die to defend the land for you and me. And I'd rather stand up and say to you, what the fuck did you just say? 'Cause I'm proud to be an American. God bless the USA!
That's a great big lie.
So they didn't give you fucking anything.
Right, they don't give you anything.
That's
They
fucking
work you to
crazy.
death.
Yeah.
Then they take everything away.
But
They bleed you. They're vampires.
I don't know, man. I'm really happy for you that now you can, you know, it's like I was trying to explain to you 6 months ago. I mean, we can have a conversation, but if you can't really hear what I'm saying and I'm shouting the whole time, there's a lot of nuance to the pitch of my voice. If I want to say some things louder for impact or softer to draw you in, or use different tones in my voice that you're just not picking up on just in conversation. And I think that this was pretty well pronounced with music. And one of the first things that I did after I pantomimed It's a Whole New World from the Aladdin soundtrack, one of the first things that we did, I think it was the second day after you had him, is we listened to some music. And I know that you're a Johnny Cash fan, and so am I. So I played some Johnny Cash music, and you know, you were obviously moved by it, and it just struck me. You know, I can't imagine not being able to appreciate music. And yes, your hearing aids cost $6,000. However, what's $6,000 compared to having a life without music?
Could you imagine me trying to go hunting now and trying to go find an animal to hunt down, and when I can't hear him? Could you imagine?
Well, now you can.
Now, could you imagine Barney the bear sneaking up on my ass and biting me?
I snuck up on him once.
Or Sam the skunk spraying me?
Right. But I mean, just forget about survival for a second. We're not talking about survival. I mean, for all intents and purposes, we kind of live in the suburbs. It's the country, but let's be honest. There's a neighbor 100 feet away. There's another neighbor 100 feet away. There's a third neighbor 100 feet away. And then there's a fourth neighbor 200 feet away. All right, it's kind of the suburbs. All right?
Not quite.
Come on. We're in a community. All right?
But
There's 7 houses on our block. Our block is only 75 yards long. It's the suburbs. Yeah. Okay? If we stand in the front yard, we can see 4 houses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the suburbs. So, I mean, I'm not so talking about survival. I mean, obviously you're going to survive.
You're not talking about a neighbor being a half a mile away.
And I'm not talking about you being eaten by a bear because you can't hear the bear sneaking up on you. Okay, I'm not talking about survival. I'm talking about being a human being. Being a human being is one of the experiences of being a human being in 2026 is being at the top of the food chain. Okay? You're not living in a tent.
No.
You're not in Yosemite National Park. No. Okay? You're not killing your dinner every day. No. So you are in civilization. We're not concerned about survival. Okay? No. So part of the experience is being top of the food chain, and part of the benefits of being at the top of the food chain is you get to have the time to appreciate things like music.
Yeah.
Which I can't imagine, because when I played the Johnny Cash playlist on my Alexa, we were both moved by the songs. That's a beautiful playlist. He was a wonderful musician. And I was watching you as we listened to it, and I could see that you were moved and I was moved.
Memories.
And, you know, it's just, how long has it been since you've been able to have that experience of appreciating music?
I can't remember.
That's crazy. So to me, if the devil came to me and said, I'm going to take away your hearing unless you give me $6,000,
Oh.
I'd find a way. I'd rob a bank to get that $6,000.
I'd just break a few legs with a baseball bat. Go back to the guy.
Fair enough. I can't imagine living without one of my senses, especially, you know, I'm a painter, photographer, so sight is very important, but even sound, and just trying, even though I don't use it for, you know, my creativity, thinking about living without it and really putting yourself there made me realize how much of the world you were missing out on. And it's good to have you back, because now we can talk about, it's really tough to talk about complex subjects when you're screaming.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have you.
I got another 20 years left.
Yeah.
To raise some help.
I'm sure you do. But it's nice to have you here, and it's nice to have you once again 100% engaged in the world. And really happy for that. So, and congratulations. And I think for people of your generation, it takes a certain amount of courage to say, hey, I got a problem, let's fix it. I don't know why. I guess in your what year no, I get it, but what year were you born in?
46.
You were born in 1946.
Yeah.
All right. So let's say okay, I was born in 1980. Okay? My entire life, somebody who was hard of hearing was not somebody you made fun of. Now, you know, in the 80s when I was a kid, there were certain handicaps that you made fun of. Now, one of them was the people that were like, you know, they can't move.
You're imitating President Trump now?
No, I am not doing the imitation of President Trump, imitating that news journalist.
Right.
But that news journalist who's kind of like this, that would be somebody that in the 80s it was acceptable to make fun of. Right. Somebody who was nonverbal autistic, you know, that would be somebody who, somebody with Tourette's, fucking shit, fuck. I'm sorry, what was that? That would be somebody that you could make fun of. Somebody with cerebral palsy, who is just a little slow, would be somebody that you could make fun of. Somebody with Down syndrome, you know, same thing. That's somebody that you could make fun of. But when I was born in 1980, being hard of hearing was not a handicap that was worthy of being made fun of. It wasn't, you know, it was just like, oh, okay, so go get it fixed. It's kind of like being like you can't see right. Okay, so go get it fixed. You know, if you can't see straight, go get a pair of glasses. And if you can't,
laser treatment.
Or go get laser. Well, back in the 80s, we didn't have that. It wasn't so good. And if you can't hear so good, go get a hearing aid. In other words, there were certain, like, you know, where certain, and I hate to say it, but in the 80s, you know, Gen X, in the 70s and 80s, you know, there were certain handicaps where it was okay to point your finger and call them a retard, and that was funny. Hard of hearing was never one of those things, but I realized from watching older movies or watching movies that were made about older times, back when you were growing up, being hard of hearing was the same thing to people as having like Down syndrome. It was like you were worthy of being made fun of. Like, you'd be like, what? And all the kids would be like, you can't hear anything. Yeah, it's not that way since I've been on this planet. But you're kind of carrying that stigma with you a little bit, it seems like.
Well, today they could even give you an operation for a burn spur, and I think it's $22,000, but they put this stent near your ear, and you don't have to wear hearing aids. It actually generates the bone spur that you could hear.
I think what you're talking about, the ocular implant that you're
Right.
talking about, there's one that goes directly into the brain, which I'm pretty sure Elon Musk is working on. There's another one where the mic sits up against the skull. And what it does is the sound doesn't shoot into the ear canal. The sound is measured to vibrate against the plate of the skull so that the inner ear picks it up. But the speaker on the skull reverberates it at a frequency where the inner ear picks it up accurately, even though it's being reverberated off the plate of the skull, which is wonderful, beautiful technology.
We could build a new human being.
Well, slowly but surely.
We are.
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
We're getting
AI's taking over.
Well, I think the speaker that reverberates off the skull, that was actually created before AI. But that's fascinating technology. They have to get the frequencies exactly correct so that even though you're hearing, the sound is reverberating off the plate of your fucking skull, to you, it sounds like somebody talking over there or over there. And they have to program the frequencies exactly perfectly. It's wonderful technology. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, I got a few other things I want to replace.
What else do you have to replace?
I got arthritis in the fingers.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going.
I still got some carpal tunnel in his hand. And let's not talk about the other stuff.
Well, hey, listen, man. Nowadays, since I've been here, which is since 1980, I've been on this stupid rat-ass ball of dirt. Since 1980 in America, being hard of hearing is not anything to be ashamed of. And I'm really happy that you got over it. And I'm really happy that you went ahead and spent the money. And I'm really happy that you can hear. Again, you're not wearing any headphones. I'm talking at a normal volume. I'm not yelling at all, and you can hear everything I'm saying. And that's so wonderful, not only for you, that a whole new world is opened up for you, which I'm so happy for you. And I'm so grateful that you can have this wonderful experience of music and people talking to you and having conversations. But most of all, I'm happy for me.
Yes, Daddy. Don't punish me. Don't yell at me.
I'm happy for me because now I don't have to shout anymore. I'm happy for me because now I can talk to my best friend when I have a sore throat. Now I can whisper. Now I can be hungover with a headache and have you come in and say, good morning. And I can say, good morning. I don't have to go like this.
I hope there ain't too many.
Good morning! So I'm happy for me, but also for you, but mostly for me.
Good. You feel good about it.
Yeah. No, I'm really happy for you. Are you enjoying it? Seriously. I know it's going to take some getting used to. You've only, I mean, you just got the first adjustment. I think they gave them to you to sit with for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then you just had the first adjustment like a few days ago. I noticed a significant improvement just after that first adjustment. So you're like early in the game. So your brain is still figuring out how to interpret all of these signals that it hasn't had to deal with for a very long time. But and kudos to you for putting up with it. I'm sure that can be stressful because a lot of guys your age, I mean, you're almost 80 years old now.
Come December.
Yeah.
The day after Christmas.
Yeah. A lot of guys your age, they'll put up with it for a few days and then they throw their hearing aids in the garbage like they're sick of listening to their wives. That's the excuse. But I think really what it is.
A wife? Or warden?
Or they're sick of listening to their pet hat man. I don't know.
Well, Pat Man's very interesting.
Oh, thanks, man.
Wives are boring.
Wives are typically boring. But that's their excuse. But I think what it really is they've just gotten so used to not having that input and being faced with having to relearn how to interpret those signals. Oh, that's not a bird on my shoulder. That's 100 feet away. Your brain has to relearn that. It's not about the hearing aid. So kudos to you for fucking sticking with it, man. You've been putting them in every fucking day for 3 weeks since you've got them.
Got no choice.
Well, you do. A lot, like I said, a lot of guys just fucking throw them out. So, I mean, kudos to you for sticking with it, man. I think in a few months it's going to be worth it. And I think you're going to realize, holy shit, this is the way life is supposed to be.
No, we got to keep on going.
Congratulations, though, man. What I'm saying is, I know that what you're experiencing takes effort. And I want to point out that you are making the effort, and I want to point out that that is something you should be proud of yourself for.
Keep on going, because you got to keep on pushing some of the things.
You're doing a great job, man.
And like yesterday, who was pushing your artwork?
Well, yesterday, Harry and I went to the Lackawaxen Art and Craft Fair.
Yeah.
At the volunteer fire department. You signed us up, which I'm tremendously grateful for. Not a great experience, which we can talk about. But, however, yeah, you were kind of like my agent. You were the guy pushing my artwork.
I'm pushing it.
So I had a display set up, and nobody came in for like the first 2 hours. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But when people start, at this point, I'm like taking a nap. I'm half asleep in my chair behind my display. I had a display, that featherlight display that stands up on the table that I had my prints of my artwork hanging up on. And then I hear you in my dream. I'm like having a dream, and I hear you. So what do you think about the artwork? And you're sitting there talking to somebody, and I'm like, oh, I guess I should wake. Fuck it. I'll go back to sleep. You're doing such a good job. What the fuck do I have to get up for?
Right. Go back and sleep.
You were really hunting people down, man. Yeah, that was one of the first times I've done something like that, where you're basically at like a fair, like a show. We did the art show at Great Towers. When was that? Was that this year? That was a few months ago. Yeah. I think it was a few months ago. And maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was longer than that. No, because I just came back. Yeah, I think it was this year. Anyway, we did the years and years and years and years ago, many moons ago, many decades ago, many centuries ago, back before the War of 1812, when me and your great-grandfather used to go out and everything was in black and white, and we'd hunt brontosaurus meat for breakfast. Back in those days, I did a show at the biggest mall in northern Jersey, the Willowbrook Mall.
Willowbrook.
Yeah. I did a show with my friend. She only needed half the space that she had to pay for, and I think she was selling sex toys. Yeah, I'm certain she was selling sex toys at this point. So she's like, I only need half the table. You want to do the other half of the table? They gave her like a really big space, and I was like, yeah, I can pay for half of it. I'll do half the table. Fuck it. So I put up my display, same thing, except it wasn't for, my personal artwork, my personal paintings. It was for my portrait work. I still had my business going at that point. And, didn't get a lot of bites, man. I was sitting there. I was a pretty successful photographer, pretty successful small business owner at that point. I'm making, gross. Probably, $120,000, $180,000 a year. At that point, that's pretty good. Way back then in the old days where we were hunting brontosaurus for breakfast. But nobody bit. Nobody put their thing into my fishbowl. Win a free portrait session, win a free 8x10. Nobody was picking up my business card. Nobody was talking to me. It was kind of the same thing that I experienced at the firehouse. So, I mean, I don't know. What is it? Because you're a very engaging person. Perhaps I'm not. But what I noticed was I'm not good at that. So this is the third time that I've done something like this. Everybody stays away from me. So I kind of measured it at the Lackawaxen volunteer firehouse, which is where I'm showing my art. Oh my God. And maybe the reason why people didn't take my family portrait business seriously at the Willowbrook Mall is because I was set up right next to a vendor who was selling sex toys. I don't know.
Well, maybe
that's a possibility.
Maybe you should have took some of your later art when you were showing little breasts and little nipples. Maybe you could go 1 + 1 = 2.
Even though she was selling dildos and vaginal cream, I think that if I had paintings on display where nipples were shown, paintings, not photographs, the rent-a-cops at Willowbrook Mall would have come to me and asked me to censor my work while she's selling dildos and vaginal cream. I'm pretty sure that's the way it would have gone. Because human beings do not have the ability to discern between nudity and pornography. Because, in my opinion, human beings are all pent up, evil little troglodyte creatures that are all frustrated with their own instincts and pleasure. And they have their head all wired up so that anything that they enjoy must be evil. Let me figure out a reason why I'm enjoying it and I feel guilty, so everybody else should too. Largely because of Christianity, which is a religion that we invented to keep you all enslaved. And it's worked very well. But yeah, it was a weird experience to do this. I had my artwork set up, and I had a couple of things that really irritated me about the experience, and most of them are my fault. And it's because of the context of the situation. And I put myself in the wrong context. But you were kind enough to get me a table, so I wanted to do it, and I thought it'd be a good experience, and overall it was. I learned a lot. But the first thing that I noticed was as people started to come in to the hall that we were set up in, it was almost like I had a fucking force field around my table. Nobody would come within 15 feet of my fucking table.
Yeah. Because they were looking for nonsense things, all bullshit things, nothing of real value.
Well, and then the people that you had come over and talk to you, of course, you're selling fishing rods and you're selling shungite.
Right.
But as soon as you start talking to people about the tax thing, I heard a few people.
Oh, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, I heard a few people say, well, that's way over my head, or I don't understand anything about that, or I don't want to get too close. You know, just like, don't want to consider it. Takes too much effort.
Yep.
What you are talking about, what I am hearing, what I am experiencing, here's what I imagine it is like inside the brain of a human. Which, for all intents and purposes on this show, we generally call troglodyte hairless half monkeys. However, for the rest of the show, for simplicity's sake, I will simply call them muggles. Non-magical folk. But really what I mean is human. So here's what I imagine the world inside the mind of a muggle is kind of like. He said things I don't understand because I've never heard them before. It would take effort to understand new ideas. I don't want to make any effort. If I make effort, I may fail. I could put in the effort and still not understand what he's saying. If I put in the effort and still can't understand what he's saying, I will look like a fool. If I look like a fool, I will lower myself in the hierarchy concept that is based upon my brain inside of the tribe that I am a member of, that I consider myself very high within, and I cannot lose any stature within the hierarchy of my troglodyte hairless half-monkey muggle world. He might be right, and that frightens me, which means I am a fool. List goes on and on and on and on.
So they're scared of confrontation. That is totally confrontation. When you confront yourself with what you don't know, you begin to think you're ignorant, and I don't understand what you're saying. I really don't want to understand it because now I'm going into the conflict zone, and I'm uncomfortable with that.
If you're coming from a place where the only way that you can be comfortable is to think that you know and have experienced everything, and anything that threatens that view of yourself, whoa, I've never experienced that before, that's something new, that makes you feel threatened. I mean, you have essentially turned yourself off to learning anything new.
Right.
Do you
stop thinking you're a mushroom?
Do you think that's where most people are at
today? Yes. Once I opened my mouth and I started explaining things to them, I smell fear.
Now, I was showing pretty subdued, let's call it, artwork on my display. Actually, let me bring it up real quick. All right, so I'm going to show everybody the prints that I had at the show. That's one of them. Okay. Here's another print that I had on display. Oh, I had this painting on display, the actual painting. So that was on display. Let's see. This painting was on display. And then I had a print of this one. And then I had a print of this one. And the nipple was blacked out. So there's no nudity. And, yeah, so I mean, I consider that fairly tame, in my opinion. But still, there's this bubble. Like, as soon as people see my images, it's like, I am not programmed to know what to think about this. So, therefore, I am going to stay away from it.
Right. Meanwhile, men go chasing women, and when you hit 20 to 40 years old, what the hell are you sucking on? When you're with your wife.
Oh, I'm not even. Yeah, the nipples. Yeah,
that's the whole point. Okay. It's all right in that era, but if you get a painting, and a real painting, it's not pornographic.
Well, I don't think the nudity was the thing that created the bubble.
No.
There was literally a bubble around my table. Like, I was at the back in the center, so you had to make a U to go around the room. I was at the crux of the U. People were literally stepping backward and going around the other way, going past tables that they have already gone by, in order to avoid coming in front of my table. And I really don't think it was the nudity.
No. I think it was like it gave an aura.
I think it's the fact that the images they were seeing were emotionally engaging. It's very easy to look at a backpack and have an opinion. I guess it's not so easy to look at what I do and have an opinion. Once again, My fault. I shouldn't have been there. I was completely out of context for the situation that I was in.
Well, maybe the people, they just, you were above their education level of accepting things the way things really are.
But, see, here's what irritates me about that. I don't think it should be about education. Because, for example, this is just, it's art.
It's art.
All right? You know what else is art? Bruce Springsteen is art. So if I ask you, hey, Harry, what do you think about Bruce Springsteen?
It's a rock star. No, nothing to me.
Do you like his music?
Take it or leave it.
I don't like it.
Okay.
I can say I don't like it.
That's your choice.
Right. So how come I'm not threatened by that?
Right.
I'm not threatened like I'm not educated enough to have an opinion about Bruce Springsteen.
Right.
Now, what's the difference between that and a painting? Either you like it or you don't.
But meanwhile, you go to the museum and you look at some classical art, and that real classical art has a meaning to it, and it's supposed to hit your emotions a little bit, but the art they do today sucks.
Well, here's the thing. If you go see a painting in a museum, there's two contextual avenues through which you can view the painting in a museum. One of them is I'm in a museum and it's hanging on the wall. That's the context. So therefore, this is important. This is worthy of my attention. And if I don't like this, I'm an asshole because the museum thought it worthy to hang on the wall. Who am I?
Right.
That's the first contextual avenue. The second contextual avenue where people will have a certain amount of ignorance is time. Because a lot of these paintings are 300, 400, 500 years old. You don't have the context of the people living in that time to understand what they were going after, what they were trying to describe to their peers. You are not their peer. You are living in an age that's 500 years after their death in some cases. So you are missing that context where in which...
You don't understand their history.
Right. Where in which education would help, of course. However, you should be able to look at a painting and say, I like it or I don't like it, gutturally, just as a reaction, the same way that you would when listening to a piece of music. Now, I mean, you know, you have Johann Sebastian Bach or Amadeus Mozart, okay? And these are still very popular composers today because they were geniuses. Now, I can listen to a piece by Mozart and say I like it or I don't like it, whether or not I have the historical knowledge in order to have that context.
It don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
If you like the music, you like the music.
Exactly. Now, Bruce Springsteen became an international celebrity, but most of his early work is about living as a working class bum in New Jersey. Okay, now I grew up in New Jersey, and I still don't like Bruce Springsteen. I grew up a working class bum in New Jersey, drinking warm beer on a hot summer night on the hood of my 76 Chevy. And I still don't like his music, even though I lived the context that he is writing about. Still don't like it. But somebody like Amadeus Mozart, okay, now I have no context other than my limited historical education for what he was writing about. But I can still tell you, Magic Flute, obviously, it's a great work of art, but I hate it. Can't listen to it. I can't listen to it. Fucking hate the Magic Flute. Can't listen to it. Don Giovanni, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Without historical, both of them, I have limited historical context. But I can tell you, just in my gut, in my heart, from listening to it, whether I like it or hate it. I'm not threatened
That's your choice.
No, it's not a choice. There's a fearlessness to be able to say that you like something or you don't like something. That the art establishment, they've wrapped painting in fear. Like, you don't understand. If you say that you hate it, then you don't understand. And I think that's sad, because I think people that would, appreciate work that is not bought at a big box retailer, like Walmart or Home Goods or Burlington Coat Factory, they don't even bother to explore artists and very affordable prints of artists they might like, because they feel like they're not worthy. They're not educated enough to know if they should like it. Whoa, if somebody's telling you, educating you, whether or not you should like something, that's a program. Just look at it and be like, I like it or I don't. Why is that so fucking difficult?
Because people can't make choices. They stop thinking. They stop looking.
Takes a certain amount of willpower.
Yeah, a little effort to really look inside you and say, what do I really feel about it?
Most people, I think, will go to a gallery. And let's say the gallery is very expensive. They'll go to a gallery and they'll see some splatters of paint on the wall, or
the soup can.
This is a real thing. This happened recently. Somebody got a commission from a gallery, a modern artist. They gave him, I think, $30,000. Make us a show. You know what he did? He went to high-end New York City shops, bought himself a bunch of clothes, and then for his gallery show, he stapled the bags and the receipts to the wall.
That's stupid.
Yeah. Now, what he did was he fucked the gallery. He took the $30,000 and he bought himself a bunch of cool shit. And then for his show, he stapled the bags and the receipts to the wall. Now, Art Forum magazine said, and I think that I quote, "This was a masterstroke, a truly unignorable diatribe against modern capitalist consumerism." Oh, was it? Or did he just take your money and fuck you? Because to the rest of us that are actually creative people that aren't laundering our money through your schemes, that's the way it looks to us. And you remember in 1984, the movie we just rewatched again the other day, and he says the proles are the future, the proletariat, the poor people, the peasants. Yeah, that's the future. That's the future. You have to get under their skin. You have to capture their hearts. Because most people who are so-called educated or refined, my God, they can look at that and call it art, but then they can go to a gallery that's fucking bullshit, see Ad Nerdrum, and probably call it something like hack. They would see a painting by Ad Nerdrum and probably, what's the fucking word that they all use? Where it means that it came from somewhere else, which is a tremendous compliment, of course, when you think about it. What's the word they use? They don't use hack. That's what comedians use when you steal jokes. Artists call it, I can't think of the word, but in any case, it's saying that, you're not coming up with an original thought. In other words, everything in the art world nowadays has to be novelty. If it's not novel, then it's not art. And you can have the most twisted piece of shit be considered art nowadays simply because of the fact that nobody's done it before. And that's horrible. So, getting off of the topic of art, really what I wanted to talk about on this podcast is just people, humans, muggles, and what they are. And when we got back from that show, so first of all, I have the bubble. Nobody's, and I was like, all right, maybe it's me. I got a black shirt on. I'm wearing sunglasses. Maybe it's me. I'll hide behind my display. I'll take a nap. Still the bubble. And I was like, all right. Started to think. But then the people that did come forward, everybody had a chide. A subtle chide. The first woman who comes over, what does she say? Well, it's interesting, but what's the process? Now, this is a woman decked out in her Walmart best, in her Sunday Walmart best. She probably spent $16 on her outfit, shoes included. My God, she was really decked out. Bejeweled and bedazzled in her slave labor Chinese concentration camp fashion. Her face melting in the summer heat. Her hair shorn of any length or beauty. The glasses, her Coke bottle glasses, disguising any interpretation of soul you could see in the eyes. The sunken cheeks, showing merely a casual concern for sugar and its intake and nothing else. And the bloated stem of her body pumping up over the waistband of her $3 sweatpants, betraying a diet that is casually concerned not with substance, but with feeding the void within the soul. And her concern when looking at my art was, well, it's interesting, but what's the process? And you came over and got me. You were very excited that somebody was taking notice. And Jesus Christ, what's the process? It's a fucking oil painting, lady. Yeah. If you're smart enough to ask that question, you're smart enough to know what a fucking oil painting is. What do you think the fucking process is? Now, what I should have said to her, Harry, is, well, it's a fucking oil painting, which is what I said to her. But then she asked the same question again. She said was, well, sometimes I start off with a drawing and then I sit down and I fucking paint. What's the process? What's the process?
Like it was done with a machine.
Right.
You're not a machine.
What's the process? What's the process? Interesting. That's another word I love when they say interesting. What's the process? It's very interesting. But what's the process?
And the photograph.
Well, it wasn't her. That was other people. So they come over. I don't know what I'm looking at. Really? Okay. Well, I'm a painter. These are paintings. So these are paintings, and she touches one. That's a print. Oh, so they're not all paintings. Madam, that is a print of a painting that I did. So it's a print. Correct. That's a print of a painting that I did. These two in the gold frames, those are paintings. So they're prints. No, madam. No, madame. Those are the actual paint. So you didn't paint these. No, I did. I did paint everything you see before you with my fucking hand and a paintbrush. These three are prints of the paintings, which I did. These two are the paintings which I did. So which ones did you do? My God. I didn't know that most human beings have the IQ of Forrest Gump. I didn't know that. I had no idea.
Well, people can't they don't listen to you.
They listen, but they don't hear.
No, they don't hear. You can pick any subject and they don't want to hear because they're not programmed to think outside the box.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I haven't been confronted with this before, so I'm either going to act very unaffected, very superior, and very demeaning, or I'm going to be an idiot, or, which, yeah, that's the most defensible in my opinion. If you're stupid, you're stupid. I get it. You know, it's nothing you can do about that. Try harder. Certainly try harder, but, you know, you were born stupid is what it is. And then also poking fun. Oh, that was my favorite. Poking fun. So I just showed everybody who's watching the paintings that I had on display. I did have a video up that showed all my paintings in sequence, like 3 seconds a piece in motion. So then I have some people come up and they're like, well, you do portraits as well, because I had a giveaway for a photography session. Try to make some shekels. So yeah, you know, I was a photographer for decades. Yeah. So, you know. Oh, so you're going to take my portrait and then paint me as some creature? I said, what?
No.
Are you joking? No. There's a photograph right there of a family. I took that photograph. If you would like something similar to that, then enter the drawing. Because it looks like you're just going to take my picture and turn me into a creature. That's very funny, madam. How hilarious you are. Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take your photograph because you're so interesting. Your photograph. Of all the people on the planet, I want your photograph so that I can turn you into a creature from my subconscious. Yeah. Because you, madam, are so fucking interesting. No. So yeah, that's my fault. I was really out of context. But it really did kind of make me realize, and then seeing what you were dealing with the tax thing and the Shungite, even the Shungite. I don't understand what you're saying. That's too far over my head. I can't read all that. Well, you know how to read, so yes, you can. So just say you're not interested. That's far more honest. But even with I think a lot of people are interested. They're just fucking lazy. So I really got a clear vision. You always intellectualize certain things. You have a conversation in your head about certain things. But this was the first time where I really had a vision. Holy shit. I am completely different from most of humanity. Right. I don't share many similar aspects with them. I look like a human being. It's like if it walks like a duck and it sounds like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. That I do not think that rule applies to fucking human beings. And I had a very clear, oh shit. Like I saw myself through their eyes for a moment. And I was like, holy shit, I am not one of them.
Thank God!
And I think that you had a similar, I mean, what was your experience at this fucking show? Well, tell me a little, I've been talking for a long time. Tell me about your experience.
Well, when I explained the Shungite to them, I explained it in plain simple English. They couldn't comprehend some of it. And I didn't talk in technical language.
It's not like they couldn't comprehend. They told you right off the bat they didn't want to.
Yeah. But when we got to the tax issue, it seemed that the Mr. Hyde came out and started to rattle off all the laws and answer their questions. And they gave me a bewildered look like, I didn't know that. And I explained a very simple thing.
I didn't hear these conversations, but you were away from the table quite a bit. So these are conversations that you had with like the Indian guy?
Yeah.
The guy that was pushing the Indian rights thing?
Yeah, and I gave the information to him, and I gave him the paperwork. And like I said, most people don't understand. It's not that I didn't want to talk over them, but I just explained in plain, simple terms what was what. And if they never heard it before, or most of them have never heard of it before, but they don't open up a book. They don't find anything interesting except for what's in front of them.
Well, it's interesting. They don't find anything interesting except what they already think they know. And they're more than willing to teach you what they think they know, but they're completely unopen to learning anything that they don't know. It's almost like I'm not trying. So my artwork is not trying to teach anybody anything, but it's casually offensive because it's something that people haven't seen before, especially in the context of the situation I was in. So it's almost like people are casually offended by things that they don't already know about. And even that simple thing, being confronted with something they haven't been confronted with before, creates a feeling of confrontation within them.
And confrontation, most people fear.
It's very weird. You know my reaction to something that I've never seen or heard of before? Curiosity. I mean, what amount of fearlessness or willpower does it take to be a curious person? Because I'm beginning to suspect it must take a lot. Because that very basic function of being a so-called human being, you fucking muggles, of being curious. I mean, first of all, you have to have the courage to say, I don't know anything about that.
Right.
Or at least admit that to yourself. And second of all, you have to have the willpower to be able to learn something new and then consider whether or not it's worth knowing about, to consider pursuing or not pursuing. So it does take a certain amount of courage and willpower to be curious. And I don't think anybody fucking... people, I think, just want to kick around for a little bit and die. I don't think they want to do anything else.
They only want to conform, and they don't want new challenges, and they want to conform to their tribal habits and be happy. Don't tell me anything new, because I may have to change my mind. I may have to think about it.
It goes farther than I thought, though. I mean, if you're afraid of an aesthetic position, then it goes far beyond somebody challenging your worldview. It's just, I don't know how to digest that because I've never eaten it before.
Right.
It goes to that level of the brainstem. If you've never seen broccoli, you're like, I don't know if I can eat that. And somebody's like, yeah, you can fucking eat it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because I've never eaten it before, so I'm going to stay away from it.
Oh, you talk about George Bush.
With the pretzel?
No, with the broccoli.
I don't know about George Bush and the broccoli.
Don't like broccoli.
No, nobody likes broccoli. I like broccoli when it's saturated in butter, blood, and salt. But all right, let's say kiwi fruit. Let's say star fruit. You never seen a star fruit before.
Yeah, I've seen.
Okay. But let's say somebody's never seen it before. No, I don't know if I can eat that.
Right.
Like, dude, there's other people eating it. You'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah, but I've never eaten it, so I don't know if I can. I'm just going to stay away from it. I'm going to go
overseas.
I'm going to go over here.
Go overseas, go live in another country, and see what they eat. If it tastes good and I can digest it, fine. I don't want to know what it is. It's good.
All they seem to be able to do is regurgitate other people's opinions.
Right.
they're very mechanical creatures. I don't see that they have any souls. And I think that the word human is too lofty, too highfalutin, too pregnant with promise to describe these fucking things I see around me every day. Because they have no promise. And they're basically mechanical. What they do, and there's this great line from this video game that my brother introduced me to a very long time ago when we were kids. It's Count Dracula. You're fighting Dracula. It's one of the Belmont games. I forget. Castlevania, I think. And you're fighting Dracula, and you're talking to Dracula before you're going to fight him. And Dracula goes, "What is a human being? A miserable pile of secrets." Well, no. I don't think most people are creative enough to have secrets. I think what most people are is a miserable bag of regrets. I think they're a miserable bag of regrets. I don't think they have secrets. They're not creative enough to have secrets. In order to have secrets, you have to have an inner world. You have to have a subjective world. That's what having a soul is. It has to do with your personal interpretation of the phenomenon of your experience and how you create that into a story within the backdrop of your own psyche, which thereupon affects the way that you react to future stimuli in the outside world. It's like we were talking about outside earlier today, inner space versus outer space.
Right. And you're in the middle, or you're on one end or the other.
Inner space is the soul. That's what you're supposed to be developing through all of this chatter in outer space that you are absorbing through your senses. And the only way you can develop to be a miserable pile of secrets is if you have secrets to keep. What secrets are you keeping if you don't even possess a subjective universe, if you don't have an inner narrative of your own story? If you have no soul, what secrets could you possibly have? So I'm going to go ahead and say Dracula was wrong. What is a man? A miserable pile of secrets. I'm going to say, what is a man? He's a miserable pile of regrets. And I think that most people just stay away from thinking, feeling, interpreting, coming to conclusions, God forbid, building an inner narrative, creating an inner world, inner space, avoidance. It's not sad. It's what they're here to do. They're slaves. So let me say this. It's sad in a way because it's a tremendous amount of wasted potential, but the potential is not wasted as long as it's used, refined, and guided by people who are able to use that potential. You can call it vampirism, call it what you will. However, there's a tremendous amount of energy at risk of being wasted because because muggles are not incentivized enough, I suppose, to develop a soul within themselves. Do you know what? They did a study in hospice. Hospice is where you go to die. It's the hospital that you go to when the doctors are like, we can't do anything else for you. You're gonna die.
We're gonna fill you up with morphine and you're gonna be a happy junkie dying.
Where we're going to try to make it as painless as possible. Exactly. That's called hospice. So they did a study with hospice patients. I forget who exactly it was. But do you know what the number one regret for people on their deathbed? By far, we're talking over 90% of what people... They asked you, what's your biggest regret? If you could go back and live again, what would you change? And these are people that are dying. They know they're dying. A lot of them were dead in a few days. Number one answer.
What was it?
I wish I had the courage to be myself.
Sounds right.
I wish I had the courage to be myself.
I wish I had the courage to make a difference and know myself.
Knowing yourself is very different than making a difference. And I've said this to you before. With this podcast, the paintings that I do, I'm not looking to change people. People are what they are. But I am what I am. And I have to express myself. There's one very simple reason why I have to express myself. Do you know what that reason is? It's very simple. I have to express myself because if I didn't express myself, it would be an act of self-denial. I will deny myself nothing. I express myself because I want to. I don't care who comes around to see the world through my eyes. Frankly, it doesn't even fill me with a tremendous amount of satisfaction when somebody does come around to see things my way. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant to me. What I want is for everybody to be wholly and unapologetically themselves. And then I can figure out who I love and who I hate. And if I hate you and you hate me and we have nothing in common, that's perfectly fine. It's a big world. We don't ever have to meet again. But people hiding, people purposefully not cultivating themselves because they're frightened of what other people will think. People living and hiding in white cubes, unadorned by any bastion of the semblance of a personal form of aesthetic camaraderie with their very life. No concept of metaphysics. And even their very concept of epistemology is broken down because there is no one narrative that they can gather around the water cooler at lunch and bark about with their coworkers. You don't know what's what because the news is fractured? Get over it. Welcome to the real world. The real world is full of illusions. The real world is full of propaganda. The real world is full of willpower. The real world is full of choice. The real world is full of get up on your feet and fucking decide what you want to be, what you want to do, what you think, and what you are. Because I got news for all the fucking muggles out there. You got a lot of New Age philosophy swirling around you right now, telling you, find yourself. Find yourself. Find yourself. As if you could passively sit back and doom scroll a social media app, and eventually you'll find out what you are. Well, here's news for all of you, muggles, troglodyte hairless half-monkeys. One does not find oneself. One creates oneself. And creation is an active energy. And active energies take effort and follow through. And you have to see it through to its close, even as your target changes because of new information gained during the process. You still have to see it through. If you don't want to die in hospice and somebody asks you, just as part of a poll, they come to your deathbed and you imagine that they care about you, your death, your soon-to-be cold corpse under the thin linen sheets in the far too cold room that they keep at 65 because it invariably kills most viruses to keep it a little colder. and you're under the thin linen sheets with your gray cardboard skin with the veins poking through and the liver spots where your skin is beginning to decay, even as you're alive, the meat rotting off your bones. And you imagine for a moment this young, intrepid reporter with his little cell phone recording your voice and his little notepad sitting by your bedside, asking you questions. And maybe he holds your cold, frail hand in his warm, almost fiery, impetuous, meaty palms. And you feel the heat of him holding your hand. And he looks directly into your eyes, and you say to yourself for a moment, he sees me in my pain, and I am about to die, and he looks like he cares. He's putting himself in my position. He empathizes with my fear. He's gonna know. He's gonna ask. He's gonna ask what I know. He wants to know what's going through my head. And he asks you with sympathy in his eyes as he looks right into the fucking pupils of those globule orbs in the orifices of your decaying skull. And he says, you've lived a long time, Madeline. You've lived a long time of everything that you've done. What's your biggest regret? If you could go back and do it all again, what would you do differently? And you cough, and you have a little sputter, and maybe you're too weak to lift that cardboard hand to your frail, pale lips. Maybe he grabs a napkin and he does it for you. He wipes the spittle away from your lower lip, and you smile as you look into his young, vital eyes. And you see your former lovers, all the young men that used to come courting, and he looks not much different than many of them, and they're still interested in you. He's still interested in you. He's here at the very end, and he wants to know what you're suffering. What's in your heart? What's in your soul? And you think, you want to give an honest answer. This is the last time somebody's ever going to care that much. Your grandchildren come around. They don't ask these things. You try to tell them stories about when you were younger, and in my day, we didn't even have the internet. Their eyes roll back in their head, much the way you assume your eyes look when you go to sleep. Glossed over, gray, without life. And they run away from you with their phones in front of their face. And again, they're magically re-engaged, staring at their two-dimensional screens, and their vitality comes back to their eyes, and the pink shades come back to their cheeks. Being around you makes them look and feel like death. Being in front of their screen makes them come alive and vital and pink and warm and smiling. But they can't do it around you. You're trying to teach them about when this wasn't. But this is all they love. They don't love you. Now this young man who asked you the question, what do you regret? What would you change? He's actually interested. You have to give a good answer. You close your eyes. Nothing much changes when you close your eyes. It's just as dark with them open. And you close your eyes and you can still see the countenance of his vital, sympathetic face burning against your eyelids, like you looked at the sun and the light is still blinking when you close your eyes. You can still see its outline. You still see his sympathetic face. You still see his eyes. And you search your soul. What's my biggest regret? If I could go back and do it all over again, what is the one thing I would do differently? And you feel a little strength peek up, a little shudder up your spine. It's not love's. I did the best I could. It's not my family. I did the best I could. It's not my work. I did the best I could. No, I did the best I could. What's my one regret? And you realize it's because right now, you're being seen. You feel seen. You've never felt seen. You know that this young man sees you because he couldn't possibly want anything else from you. You're about to die. All the young men that he looks like, you know what they wanted. That's why you felt seen. Is this the first time you felt seen? That's it. I've never been seen. And then you stutter. And you cough. And you say to the best of your ability, I wish I had had the courage to be myself. Not in vanity. Not in hubris. Not in narcissism. The reason why you're here. And you tried so hard to cover that light until you forgot what it was, that you ever had it, that it's even a thing perhaps others could possess. I wish I had had the courage to be myself. And the handsome young reporter, his eyes meeting yours, immediately dart to his notepad, and he watches himself write your answer on the paper. He picks up his phone, and he hits stop on the recorder, and without looking you back in the eye, he says, "Thank you so much," and he's on to the next bed. He never saw you. It's a survey. You're one of 1,000 dying people that will be questioned. And once again, you said the exact same fucking thing that everybody else did. Now, if you're watching this, chances are you're not in hospice yet. Take a moment after this is over. Listen to that song, Sound of Silence. Think about how that pertains to you. Are you going to be on your deathbed with the same regret everybody else has, just as you are living your life according to the same pleasures everybody else has, the same wants, the same goals, the same thoughts, the same carelessness, the same lack of willpower, the same lack of curiosity, the same tribalism, the same need to fit in, the same hierarchical structure? If you live the same way, you will die the same way. And you were born to be slaves, and you will die slaves. And that is all I have to say about that. I'll give it over to you, man.
Very well said.
I don't think I'm done. I just had to get that out of my system.
Yes. Well, You put it very well because I have seen enough people pass away, and again, regrets. People have regrets. If they're not themselves, they have lost their purpose in life. They're supposed to shine at the end. They're supposed to mean something. They're supposed to leave something behind. They're supposed to leave something with their family. Not material things, but a spiritual thing.
Sure.
And like I said, I know what death is. I've seen too much.
Sure.
I have experienced it. Nobody has to admit this is what we have to face in the end. And when people, if they don't want to be themselves, they're just going to be another character in this world. I will not be a character like everybody else. I will be myself.
Now, when you say the word character, I certainly consider you a character.
Yes.
But I mean, when I say character, I mean individual.
Right. Well, do you remember when you first met me?
I do.
You heard about people like me.
I did.
And
I finally met one.
And you finally met a real one to say, gee, this is for real.
And I always thought you guys were going to be a bunch of fucking gun-toting hardasses, which you are. But you're also one of the kindest, gentlest, thoroughly genuine people I have ever met.
Well, like I said, don't tell that secret to too many people, because there's too many vultures out there that take advantage. Kindness for weakness.
Oh, they mistake kindness for weakness all the time. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like,
I learned that doing the sales game for 20 years. Absolutely. But good for you. I can say that as much as I want because nobody's watching.
No, it doesn't matter. Maybe someone will watch.
Yeah.
Well, whatever you got to do, you do.
But it's a good point. You've seen death. I've seen death. I think I went to 15 wakes and funerals from the age of 4 to the age of 15. A lot of my family died off very quickly. That does something to you.
Yes.
When you see that many corpses and you touch it and you realize, that's not a person. That may as well be a statue. That person is not there.
Cold, clean.
It's not there anymore. Whatever that person was, no longer there. Right. Not there.
It's gone.
It's gone.
So, like I said, we don't know if things will watch this. But we'll see.
Well, like I said, I have absolutely no desire to... Now, given a choice, if you were God or the devil, and you came to me and you said, hey, the Hat Man, I'm going to change the world with a snap of my finger. And it's all up to you, baby. Would you like people to continue living in fear, ostracism, and hating themselves and closing off their own light and burning it out, essentially? Smothering it during their early life so that they all become clones of each other and act robotically, running away from pain and chasing pleasure, that are all transitory, not developing themselves, not cultivating themselves in any way, not adding anything unique to the human experience? Or would you like people to wake up and realize that they're beautiful, unique, potentially glorious beings that could alter the very face of what we call reality in an instant? Which one would you like?
I would rather have them wake up and not be a robot.
I would choose the same. I would choose the latter.
I would choose because they're like a vegetable that grows and after the growing season, you eat it and it's gone. And you just repeat the vegetable again. You plant the seed
Who
again,
eats it,
but
though?
it's the same damn
Yeah,
vegetable.
yeah.
I want
I know.
something different. I want to plant the seed. I want something new.
My palate would prefer something a little more spicy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's have something more special. Let's have something different.
Yeah. Now, although I would choose the latter and say, yeah, let's wake people up. Let's see what happens, man. Let's wake them up to their own potential and show them that willpower and effort are not something to be shunned, and that it's necessary in order for them to cultivate, develop themselves, and turn this reality into something that's actually worth living. For all of us communally, that would be beautiful, rather than, creating our own worlds that are islands apart from each other, those of us that have the ability to create it all. Although I would choose that, given a choice, I am not going to be encumbered. I am not going to take it upon myself to cause that to happen. That is not my responsibility. You know whose responsibility it is, Harry?
Yourself.
It's their responsibility. I'm not doing it.
If I didn't wake up when I was 40, I would not be the person I am today.
Sure.
And the person I am today is more interesting. Is that if I was still sleeping, I would still be an old 70-year-old fart that's sitting on a couch potato, not knowing shit.
Like most of them.
Like most of them.
Yeah.
And my time come to an end, but at least some people gonna remember. I remember that son of a bitch. He was a little on the crazy side. But you know what? I think he was right.
Well, you know what? Even if somebody doesn't think you were right, at least you lived your truth, and you lived it with bravado. That's the important thing. That you live it without shirking, you live it without apology, you live it with confidence, and you live it with bravado, with character, with gusto, with aplomb.
And I'm not dying like everybody else.
No.
Fight you to the end.
Exactly.
And
you're not sitting around waiting for death.
And if the reporter was asking me what did I regret, the only I regret I didn't learn it sooner.
Well said. I love it. Well said.
I should have learned it when I was much younger.
There's nothing you can do about that.
Right.
Yeah. Well said.
It was the right time for me, and it worked.
Yeah, but you had the courage to do it. It's like that old saying from this cartoon. It's a funny cartoon about a superhero, but he's a stupid superhero. It's called The Tick.
Oh.
Do you know The Tick?
Yeah.
So he's super strong and he's invulnerable. And he gets a regular human to be his sidekick. And the way that he convinces him to be his sidekick, this regular human being who has no superpowers, Arthur! Destiny is calling! Will you accept the charges? When Destiny calls, it calls collect. There's a price.
What don't have a price?
I thought that was beautiful. When I saw it was very funny, but I also, there's something to that. Destiny is calling. Will you accept the charges?
Whatever it is.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Like I said, wait till the next art show. I'm still going to be pushing your art.
Well, listen, I don't want to be in any more situations where I'm out of context. Okay. So I think that
we gotta find another way.
Yeah, let's if you find something, maybe, because honestly, I quit smoking and drinking up until it took a lot out of me. And that's not an excuse, but I was very disturbed by the experience because I was in a context where I was not where I should have been. So I was shunned and laughed at, and I put myself there on purpose. So you have no power in that situation. So, you know, if you see anything that you think maybe would be fun to do, yeah, show it to me. I'll take a look at it. You know what I mean? I mean, I sincerely appreciate you signing me up, and I thought it was fun just hanging out with you. But overall, the experience with the other people, it was tremendously draining. I had no power, absolutely no power. I should not have been there, and they knew it, and I knew it. Everybody knew it, and I was the target. You know, wasn't good. That's okay.
No, it's over now.
Yeah. Oh, so are you. I mean, you're the target too, but you're happy to put yourself out there like that. Somehow you seem to come away from that exchange even when people shoot you down. You don't seem that drained from it. You seem almost the way you did before you went into it. It doesn't really seem to have much of an effect on you.
I got used to it.
Yeah, which is great.
Matter. They can't take anything from me.
Now, I've done sales most of my life, and I've had a lot of people say no, and that's fine. No problem. But being in a situation where I know I'm going to lose before I go in, yeah, I can't do that. That's what drains me, is that I know I'm at a loss before I go in. Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah, so, I mean, really, I just wanted to talk about human nature. I think we'll consider this a sequel to the podcast we did a while ago called Monkey Games.
Monkey Games.
Monkey Games. That's one of our earliest podcasts, Monkey Games. This will be Monkey Games number 2.
Okay. All you monkeys, get in line.
I don't know, man. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it up?
Until next time, when we come back with some other surprises.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something to talk about today, and it's just like, you know, both you and me were disappointed when we came back from that experience, and there was just a heaviness in my heart, and I just wanted to express it. I couldn't put my head to anything else until I got it out of my system.
Disappointment is a bad theme.
Well, you seemed disappointed with it too. What was your major disappointment?
I didn't engage in a lively interview with anybody that really wanted to get in with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did.
Well, exactly, yeah.
I handed out enough papers. I handed papers to one woman, and she started to read it, and she looked at me, she said, "This for real?" I said, "Yeah, it's 100% real."
Yeah.
And she's going to read it.
Yeah.
The Indian guy, gave him a copy, and I gave one woman across the table from us a piece of shungite, which we got the Tree of Life.
She had the tree of life jewelry, and you have a lot of shungite pieces with the Tree of Life on it. So you gave her one, yeah. Sure.
Why would I give away a piece of jewelry when she was making her Tree of Life? And like I said, it's like giving a gift to somebody.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, that's all I could do. Give a gift of information, give information of what I got.
Sure.
Because I'm not going to take nothing with me. And when in the end, that is, if they try to put my stuff in my coffin, I'm such a hoarder that they can't stuff it in.
You would need an entire landfill.
Yeah. Maybe I'll go to the Great Kills landfill in Staten Island. They'll bury me there.
And all your stuff.
Yeah.
They'll have to open up a new landfill.
Yeah, oh yeah, okay, why not? So, say good night.
Yeah,
Yep.
Anything else to go out on, Harry?
No, until next time we'll see if we find something.
All right.
Maybe we'll find more interesting stuff with Teresa.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then again, when we put the sign up, we'll take a picture and we'll show it on the internet.
Yeah. The sign.
I know the HOA is going to get a little upset.
Yeah. So we have a sign from a store.
Yeah.
That you used to have a vested interest in, called the Wizard's Den.
Yes.
And you have the light up sign from your previous business partner. We got it here. Yeah. It's like 8 foot by 3 foot. It's a light up sign. It says the Wizard's Den gift shop, and it's got a crescent moon that looks like a wizard with the beard, and he's sleeping, and it looks very, very occulty. And we're gonna put it up somewhere in the front of the property. That'll be fun.
Yeah, but we put it on the roof. They definitely gonna get
the HOA will have a problem with that.
Oh, we don't have a problem with the HOA. But if I put it on the fence, they can't say nothing.
Yeah. Dude, every time I come home and that thing is lit up, I'm gonna smile. It's gonna make me smile. Yes, I am at the Wizard's Den. Yes, I am.
Are you the wizard?
Well, we should have another sign right over the door that says, what was it? Ozymandias, woe to thee who enter here, or something like that.
Yeah, beware where you enter. This may be your haunted castle.
Yeah, we should put something else up like
welcome to hell.
Oh my God, what's that quote? It's beware thee who enter here. Oh, despair upon, here it is. Look upon my works, ye, and despair, for I am Ozymandias, King of King and God of Gods. Something like that. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, we should put that over the door. Yeah. All right, fair enough. Yeah, I couldn't wrap my head around anything I wanted to talk about in the news, or that was just kind of resting on me. So I'm glad I got that out. We'll make that the podcast. I mean, what else can I do? Well, if something is obsessing me.
Get the other partner in on here on that and see what she brings up.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
She always brings something interesting up.
Well, she's got me reading a book that apparently the CIA has up for free on their website about the bloodlines right now. For free on the CIA website? I don't know. But she printed it out for me. I'm going to read it. We'll see. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much once again, ladies and gentlemen, for watching the New World Order broadcast. And just remember, we're watching you too. Is watching. There are strangers